TruckinChubbzy, man. As y'all can see, what we gonna be talking about is up on the screen. We got the NFL championships, my Pittsburgh Steelers news, college basketball, college football. But before we get up into any of these topics, man, go ahead and hit that like button for me one time. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers, so subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all catch my videos. Go through the archives if you want to, you know what I mean? So no further ado, man, I'm gonna just get up into this, man. So let me tell y'all, man, I have a totally different way of explaining things, okay? Just stay with me. I have a different way of explaining things. Now, I could break things down to you in my own way. This is just what TruckinChubbzy does. Valid, yes. Makes sense all the time. All the time I'm logical. But I have a very different way of explaining things. And that's what you're going to get over here. You're not going to get the typical. It's different. It's different over here. That's what makes this unique over here. All right. Now, I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. Now, let's get up into these topics. First, I want to talk about the boxing. I am a casual boxing fan. I have no problem with admitting that I'm a casual boxing fan. However, it seems like in boxing, there are people who are worried about losing their casual fan base. What do I mean by that? Exactly what I just said. People do not want to take fights because they are afraid of losing their casual fan base. If they lose that fan base. Now, do I want to hold us accountable as fans? Absolutely, I want us to hold us accountable as fans. Because we pick and choose who our heroes are in sports. But when it comes to boxing, when someone loses, we tend to say, oh, they lost. They got a loss on their record. So what? So what? We have to stop doing that. You don't do that with wrestlers, even though that's scripted or whatever. You don't do that with them. You don't do that with MMA. You just don't. But boxing is the only thing that you really had that you do that with. In MMA, you could throw elbows, fists, headlocks, you can grapple, you can kick. In boxing, you only can throw your hands. That is it. In the ring, that is it. For 12 rounds, you are in the ring going toe-to-toe with somebody, and you are trying to outthink them, outsmart them, and you have to stay militant, because the time that you do not stay militant and you slip up and you can't throw no kicks, you can't throw no elbows, you getting slept. Now, some people like that you get to throw kicks and elbows and you get to jump on another man and grapple them and ride them, and I ain't got no problem with that, because a lot of those guys who do MMA are tough. However, boxers are tough too, and we as casual fans need to stop doing that. If they a champ, they a champ, man. If they was once a champ, they always a champ, no matter what. Don't rock with them when they champions, and then as soon as they take a L, we go away from that. We can't do that, man, because now that stops a lot of the best fights from happening. It does. It just does. If we want to see the best fights in boxing, we have to support the boxers through and through. Everything that they do to put their bodies through, making weight, to the training, to everything is tedious. And it's a vigorous training that they have to go through in order to even fight in the ring. So I just want to be the first casual boxing fan to come out on the mic and say and admit that I am. First of all, let's get that through and through. I do not know enough about the business of boxing. And if anybody that's watching this does know that, go ahead and DM me, man, on X. It's still the same TruckinChubbzy, and we can rap, man, and you can put me down with a little bit of the business that goes behind the scenes in boxing, because I definitely want to know about that, because I'm holding myself as a casual fan accountable, and other casual fans that in boxing, that we have to support the boxers through and through, period, point blank. And the sport would grow, and I believe that we would get a lot better fighters. I think that we dictate a lot of that what goes on. And if you disagree, you can tell me down in the comments about why you disagree and everything. Just make sure you're telling me why. Don't say I disagree or you don't know what you're talking. Explain to me why. Why is that? because it looks like that, because we generate, when casual fans jump over to buy pay-per-views, the pay-per-view numbers go up, right? When casual fans want to go to fights that's super popular, the revenue goes up, right? You know what I'm saying? When you get more casual fans involved in it, the revenue goes up. And that's with any sport. That's with any kind of sport. That's why championships in football, hockey, baseball all go through the roof, because that's when casual fans tend to pay the most attention through that, correct? Okay. So with that being said, I think that stops a lot of big fights from happening, because like I said, once again, and I'll say it one more time and then I'll move on, boxers are afraid of losing their casual fan base. And if not, then why are you not fighting? Because you got the respect in the boxing community. Why not? Makes sense. All right, moving on. And the fight, Devin the Dream Haney, Gervontae Tank Davis, that fight needs to happen. All right, now we can move on. Okay, so the transfer portal, as we know, has been going up and down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and we could just take a quick look at the rankings right now from the transfer portal. As you see, Ole Miss is at the top. We know why Ole Miss is at the top. We know what they're doing over there. They're going crazy over there at Ole Miss, ain't they? Man, they going crazy. They got 15 commits, only 15 commits. They at the top right now, 76.48 points. Texas A&M is right behind them. Texas A&M, they did pretty good. Florida State, Louisville jumped up out there with 26. They got 26 commits now, but Louisville jumped up to number 4, which is, to me, was like, wow, they added some pieces. And I'm telling you what, man, it's changed. It's changed right now. The game of college football, as we know it, has changed. I've talked about contracts before. Some people don't agree with the contracts, but this is the only thing that can come into place, is to put these individuals into binding agreements with each other to slow down the pace of the college football transfer portal. That's the only way that you can get a little handle on that. I mean, other than that, there is one other thing you can do, and that's win. Win your games. Play your guys. Don't do your guys like keeping your guys. You know, I'll talk about that later. But winning is one way that you're gonna keep the players coming back, and development and of the players is going to keep the players coming back. But if you keep tending to lose, that's not going to work out good for you. Okay. What's shocking is Colorado is number 6 amongst all these big teams. Okay, it is shocking because of the rebuild of what they had, and the players that they're bringing in means that their talent is not far off from what the top has to offer right now. If you go and buy their conference as of right now, they're the best in the Big 12 by far. Okay, you see what TCU is like, what, down? They're what, 14? You see them there at 14? That's the next Big 12 team right there at 14. However, I do want to say this clear and make this clear: the average player has a lot to do with that. But in totality, yes, they are up there right now. Okay. I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to, point that out. Now, another school that has my attention is Missouri. Why Missouri? Well, like, and people, and look, we all entitled to our own opinions out here, right? You know what I mean? We all are. And I don't care who you are and how you say it, long as you can explain why you have that. I believe that, okay, you got that, and that's it. I say Missouri because whether people pay attention, you can pay attention to it or not, their defense, that team as a whole, everything was the most consistent in the SEC West besides Ole Miss. And look, they were more consistent than Ole Miss. Let's just be honest. Ole Miss, the team that they had last year probably should have beating Georgia or Alabama. Let's just be honest about that, okay? The talent, they had the talent out there. They had the people who love quarterbacks. They had the quarterback in Jackson Dart. Yes, they did. Don't sleep on Jackson Dart. They had the running backs. Yes, they did. They had the offense. They had the trenches. You know what I mean? The inconsistency was what? Okay. So when you get to looking at Mizzou and how Mizzou played, they were the most consistent because what I believe Mizzou shocked a lot of people. Some people might have thought that Mizzou was going to pull off what an 8-4 season, wind up winning more games than that. You know what I'm saying? And also winning their bowl game. I don't care how they won the bowl game. They won the bowl game. You can say that it was a depleted Ohio State team, but it don't work like that, because that y'all people kill me with those takes. Oh, it was a depleted Ohio State team. Okay, and Florida State got smacked around by Georgia, but Georgia played a depleted Florida State team. And it's the truth. But I'm just trying to make a point. I'm not talking about the Georgia and Florida State game. I'm just trying to make a point here and say that, yes, you can, if you want to go that way, then you can say that for a lot of other teams that lost bowl games. It sucks. And when you want to finish the whole season, play your whole season through, go into your bowl game and play your bowl game. That is the last time you're representing that school. Don't back out, because it looks silly to me. All right, and if you're going to back out, I guess, look, it's just whack to me, period. But do what you need to do to save your body. I get it. You go into the NFL, whatever. I get that, but don't stop with that narrative. Stop with this whole thing of, oh, this was the depleted team in the bowl games. This was a depleted team in a bowl game. I don't care about none of that. They lost the bowl game. That's the simple fact. That's the simple fact of the matter. They lost the bowl game. Oh, Utah lost their bowl game to Northwestern. Oh, they were depleted. It don't matter. They lost. Their backups could not beat Northwestern's backups or Northwestern starters. It don't matter. It does not matter. That has to stop, period, point blank. I don't care about that. They should have did better with recruiting. They should have did better with their backups and their depth. They have no depth. If they're losing, they have no depth. And that's a problem, okay? Like, that got me a little hyped, because I've heard a lot of the so-called experts say, oh, well, Mizzou, they really didn't. They were the most consistent SEC team down there. They were the most consistent SEC team in the SEC. You can't even say Georgia was consistent. Why? Because when it came down to it, they lost to Alabama. If they would have beat Alabama, then there was no question about if they were going into the playoffs or not, period, point blank. But Alabama beat them. Alabama wasn't consistent. Alabama lost to Texas earlier in the year. Texas wasn't consistent at all. They struggled in the Big 12. So there was a lot of Longhorns fans that said, oh, they were going to, but how could you say that? They struggled with a lot of teams. You know what I'm saying? In the first half of a lot of them Big 12 games, if you watched them, they were hanging with Texas. They were punching Texas in the mouth. Kansas should have beat them. Kansas State should have beat Texas. Absolutely. Will Howard and them guys should have took Texas out early and ended their college football playoff hopes right then and there. That should have happened. But it didn't. They won. No matter how they won, they won. Did Washington go through the gauntlet of the Pac-12? Absolutely, they went through a gauntlet on the Pac-12. But what was the Pac-12? There was a couple of hard-nosed teams in the Pac-12, but they just didn't have the depth to keep up with that. You know what I'm saying? And let's just be real about that. There were a couple of the Pac-12 was not whack. You know what I'm saying? I don't care on anybody's radar. The Pac-12 was not whack. Early in the year, I said, don't be surprised if one of these teams end up in the college football playoffs. I said that I did. If you follow me and you watch me, I said that. And what happened? One of the Pac-12 teams wound up playing for the college football championship. However, when you're talking about a Big Ten football program, the Big Ten is built different. And when you're building up to win in the Big Ten, your team is different. It's different. So Missouri beating an Ohio State team, got to give them their props. You have to give them their props. They were tough. They're building up. And yes, they're ranked number 12 right now in the portal, but they will rise up above that. And they will be better. It's a fact. They will be better. Why do you think Ole Miss went out there jumping around? Why do you think Kiffin went out there doing what he did? Why do you think that? Why do you think he did that? He knows Ole Miss ain't no joke. He knows that. He know Missouri. He knows Missouri ain't no joke in the East. He knows that. So he's like, yeah, I got to get my boys ready. But do I think Ole Miss probably will be a top dog next year? I do think they'll be a top dog next year. I honestly do. They're ready to play with the Georgias and the Alabama. They're ready to play against Georgia. Ole Miss is ready to play against Georgia. Mark my words, they are. Will Georgia still return with a lot of great players? Absolutely. They got a nice, starting piece. Carson Beck, and they got going around and they got some depth. Yes, they got some guys stepping up at Georgia. The development was always good. It's good. Yes, Kirby Smart knows what he's doing. Next man up. He was under that Nick Saban tree, so he absolutely knows how to keep that dynasty going. But do they have to watch out for Ole Miss? They better. But there's a whole thing with the Big Ten. Like the Big 12 was tough too. Let's not knock and say the Big 12 wasn't tough. There was some tough football teams. When you get to talking, like when you're talking about the Kansas States and the Kansas, you know what I mean? And let's not forget about Texas Tech. You could talk about you could say what you want, but if you did not watch that game, if you have not watched the Big 12, then you would not know. You would not know this. You would not know how tough Texas Tech played, even though the record was their record. Okay, same thing with a Houston. They had ballers. They had some guys down there in their trenches that went elsewhere, and they had a decent team that wasn't consistent. And I believe that. No, I don't believe. I know that's why Coach Prime up there in Colorado says a lot of consistency. I know that's why a lot of coaches, not just him, a lot of coaches in college football preach consistency, because consistency matters the most in college football. It just does. It shows on the field, and when they tend to win. They tend to win. Consistency and depth you need, but in any Big Ten team, it's tough. And people better start respecting the Big Ten. Because if you're not respecting a Big Ten team, I don't care from the bottom to the top, you'll get smacked around. Now, it was like the Iowa's, like the Big Ten, Iowa, when you get to looking at that side of it, yes, but who's rising up on that side? That is going to be a formidable opponent. Northwestern. They're building up over there. They are. Say whether you want to say it or not, they're building up. They're building up over there. They're building for that. They're going to be a formidable opponent. Also, who else? Nebraska and Matt Rule over there. They're building up in the Big Ten, and that Big Ten is no joke. And I can't wait to see that matchup with Nebraska and the Buffs. I can't wait to see that matchup. I honestly cannot wait to see it. It's going to be a good one. Because there's so much talk going on about that, but we're getting ready to move on to the next topic, man. I like what a lot of teams are doing out here. Oregon, Louisville. I like what a lot of these guys are doing, especially Miami, man. I like what Miami is doing too, man. I honestly do believe that there's a lot of concerns with the Canes fans. Let's talk about that for a second. The Canes fans. The Canes fans are, they're worried about their defense and the replacement of the players that's coming in. And I believe that they're building for that. College football is not the same anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to break it to the experts, but it is not the same anymore, experts, pros. It is not the same. Where you used to be able to say this conference was way stronger than this one, or that conference was stronger than that, you cannot do that anymore. You just can't. You can't do it. Everybody knows how to train their football players now. Everybody knows how to do that. There is even some Division II program, FCS programs, that can probably hang with some of the guys in Division I. You know what I mean? It's been said that the only reason why these schools cannot is because of their trenches. Their trenches get overwhelmed because of the lack of depth that they don't have at these Division II FCS schools. That's been said. If not, then why are Division I programs always consistent? They do this on a consistent basis, always go and get they always get the Division II or FCS players, skill players, wide receivers, cornerbacks, safeties. They constantly do that because that they know what they're doing, right? If they know how to tackle, they got speed, they got size, they got hands, they're good enough to play, right? Let's not knock on that. Now the question comes in when you start looking at positions such as a tight end or a center, guards, tackles, defensive linemen, edges. You know what I mean? That's when that's the difference when FCS and Division II comes into play because of the level competition. Okay, and it's just a fact. It's just a fact. You know it, and everybody says it. All right, but a lot of these guys are getting this wrong. These pros, so-called professionals out here, saying that these conferences are not built to play each other. These conferences are absolutely built different now. That there's no more teams that are hoarding talent by talent by talent by talent. You can go through a lot of these college football teams rosters and find a 5-star, a 4-star player, and these 4 and 5-star players who are sitting on these rosters that are not getting any playing time or leave because they can go somewhere else and play now because of the NIL. That's why these conferences are like that. At first, where are we seeing this the most effective at right now? Look, college basketball. We are seeing this happen in college basketball as we speak. There is not a undefeated basketball team in college basketball as we're standing right now. There is not one. Why is that? Because of the talent being spread around. This is the same thing that's happening in college football. So do I believe? Yes, I do. I definitely, and this is my opinion. In my opinion, yes, they're written, and you can say opinionated, whatever, but it makes sense. And if it don't make sense, then I'm going to clip this and then I'm going to throw it in everybody's face, and I'm going to be petty and say, okay, I told y'all so. That there probably will be a three-win team making the college football playoff. Why is that? Because the college football is going to be tough next year. College football, the teams are, you cannot just put teams out there and say this team's going to be undefeated, that team's going to be undefeated. The conferences are tough. These teams are tough. The coaching is there. You're going to see it. Believe it or not, you're going to see it. That's why the winners of their conference championships will automatically advance. Is there going to be an undefeated football team next year in college football? I don't believe so. I don't believe that one college football team is going to run the table. That's what I'm saying. That's my bold statement. And this is before everything happens. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, oh well. But I don't believe it because I see how the transfer portal has taken place and these teams are stacking for each other. They're stacking to win their conferences first. Once you win your conference, then everything else goes. And that's what's going on. No, you can't say that this team is going to blow out this team or this is going to happen here. No, it's just not going to be lopsided like that. It's just not. It's getting a lot better out there. And I like that about college football. I really do. I like that about college football, that it's moving in this direction to where we cannot just say that this is going to go one way and not the other. This conference is just so much more dominant than the other. I will argue, I will debate anybody when it comes to saying that the Big Ten has absolutely gotten on the same level as the SEC. You can say that the Big Ten is the new North, the North, you know what I mean? The NEC. The Southeast Conference, you can say the Northeast Conference is the NEC is, you know what I mean? Because the Big Ten is definitely equal with the SEC as far as I can go. Take the sorriest team in the SEC and put them against the sorriest team in the Big Ten. We seen what happened with that, okay? It didn't work out that well. Tennessee was ranked 25 though, you know what I mean? And Iowa wasn't, but still, we seen what happened with that. But I believe that I believe the Big Ten can match up well with the SEC. Take the best in the Big Ten, put them against the best in the SEC, and so forth and so on. They match up well with them, especially now with the additions of Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. All right, I definitely see that. Moving on. What's the next topic? What we got about here, man? I'm loving this right now. I am loving this. I'm on a roll right now. I cannot stop myself, man. I just enjoy this so much, man. The college football talk. I love it. I love it. I love it. I talked about the portal, the NFL championship games. Okay, that's what we on to. The NFL championship games, man. Look, I told y'all that Patrick, go back a couple of lives, episodes, whatever. Go back a couple of my lives. I've said this. And no, I'm not right on every single thing. I'm not. But when I'm right, I'm right. And I like to say that. People are, oh, Patrick Mahomes is losing games. He's lost it. I said, no. They caught on to what he was able to do. They studied him. Patrick Mahomes will be fine. Patrick Mahomes will adjust and he'll move on. And he'll get it down. They'll make the adjustments they need to make. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will do that. And they did just that. And now, again, they are in the AFC Championship game. Did I want Buffalo to win? Absolutely. Was I wrong? Absolutely. I like Josh Allen, and I think Josh Allen got a bad rep out here, man. There's no way you can just be a bad quarterback like that. Just keeps making it to the AFC Championship game. The divisional round and the playoffs. You're just not bad. If you making it to the playoffs every year as a quarterback, you're not bad. And you can argue the same thing with Dak. But it's not. No, I take that back. Yes, I take that back. I was totally wrong on that one because, look, Dak is just like not performing. Josh Allen is performing in the playoffs. They just not winning, okay? That's the big difference. That's a huge difference. When you got somebody like Dak that's not performing in the playoffs, get to the playoffs and he goes down skunk. And then when you see Josh Allen balling in the playoffs, that's totally different, right? Yeah, it is. So, yes, Josh Allen balls out, but he lost, all right? He plays pretty good. The Chiefs got to give it to Andy Reid and that staff over there, man. They know what they're doing, man. And Patrick Mahomes is a great leader over there, man. He's a game changer. He comes in and he plays ball, man. Do I think they're in trouble? Do I honestly think that they're in trouble when Kelsey? They better hurry up and replace Kelsey. That's what they better do. Kelsey is getting older. You can see he's losing a step or two. These linebackers have gotten a lot stronger and everything else. And do I believe the Ravens got somebody to cover Kelsey? Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. They got a defense to take Kelsey out the game. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is going to have to beat them another way besides with that run game and with Kelsey. The number one defense in the Ravens, because Browns are not here anymore. So yes, the Ravens are balling. Their defense is crazy. They have proven to beat everybody. Some people will say this is just a walking NFL champion game. They're going to be walking with the Vince Lombardi. But first, they got to get through Patrick Mahomes and them Chiefs. Do I think they can do it? Absolutely. I think the Ravens can do it. Because Lamar Jackson came back with a vision. He said, look, a vengeance. He said, I'm coming back. Y'all give me my money because I'm coming back and I'm coming back hard. Give me some weapons. I talked about it. I thought it was very disrespectful. They didn't give him no weapons. And he still got a couple of them. He got a couple of weapons. Odell Beckham, he still need one. Beckham's getting up there in age, but yeah, he's performing, but they still need another one coming, and I'm sure they got one coming. Their run game is perfection. It's perfected, Lamar's probably going to have a field day on the Chiefs because you got to cover them receivers down there, and Lamar just going to run. Look, I'm not saying big ups to the Chiefs for getting there and Patrick Mahomes balling, but this is going to be a great game, great football game to watch. But I'm definitely going with the Ravens in this one because Lamar Jackson is unreal. He's unreal. And so is Patrick Mahomes. So is, but like I'm not taking nothing from Patrick Mahomes and saying that Patrick Mahomes not, but the Baltimore Ravens defense, they going to take Kelsey away out of that game. You're going to have to use them other receivers, and those corners at the Ravens are good enough to get the job done. That front four they're going to pressure him with just the front four, and if they probably going to keep a spy on him, keep Kelsey contained, and they're going to ball, man. And they're going to ball, and they're going to win the game, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Probably by a touchdown or more. That's me. That's my prediction. All right. So that's what I'm talking about right here. Now with the Lions in the 49ers, man, I'm excited that the Lions made it as far as they did, man. I wish I can pull up the comments that I made on a long time ago, man. So long ago, but I've told somebody, they said, who's going to be the best in the NFC North? And I said the Detroit Lions are probably going to go to a Super Bowl within like the next 3 years. Yo, they're building something crazy over there, and it's like 3 years ago. And look, they are one game away from being in the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions. This is crazy exciting. I want to give the Detroit Lions fans they props, because you got to be excited if you're a Lions fan right now, man. And you know, I'm a Steelers fan. Jerome Bettis is from Detroit, man. He, you know what I'm saying? We had a Detroit running back for years, man. So, you know, I'm happy for the Detroit people of Detroit and the Detroit Lions making it to where they're at right now and balling out. Do I think Brock Purdy is a great game manager? They have so many weapons over there in the 49ers that, look, they possibly can get it, but I've seen Detroit scrap, and I do think that Aiden Hutchinson is going to play like a man possessed. He's one game away from the Super Bowl. He's going to play his heart out for that team, and I know the Detroit Lions can win. This is a hard pick for me with this game, because look, I can honestly say that Aiden Hutchinson is going to ball out. Hutchinson is going to be the difference maker on that defensive line. Him getting pressure on Brock Purdy and making plays, TFLs, and the Detroit establishing the line of scrimmage, stopping that run. You know what I'm saying? Making him one-dimensional. Absolutely got to take CMC out of the game. CMC, you got to make him beat you in the air. Take CMC out the game, because if you don't, it's going to be a long day. And Detroit got to run the ball well. That's it for me. And how I'm going to put it. And if Detroit can do those things, they pull off the dub. If they don't stop CMC, if CMC go for a hundo, it may be over for them. But as crazy as it may sound, if CMC go for 100 and he don't score, then look, they did their job, man. They did their job. So, my Pittsburgh Steelers, man. We got into a topic with this yesterday. I talked about this yesterday in a barbershop talk, a little bit about my Pittsburgh Steelers and what do I think my Pittsburgh Steelers need. If Chicago drafts a quarterback, that has to be the dumbest thing I have ever seen happen in the NFL in a long time. Because all Chicago needs to do, they have the number 1 pick overall and the number 9 pick overall. The best receiver coming out of this year, hands down, is who? Marvin Harrison from Ohio State. You have to take him. Number 1 overall. Number 9 pick, you got to go with Malik Neighbors from LSU. 6 foot, 200 pound wide receiver. You got to grab him. You got to grab 2 receivers, 2 more weapons that's going to be cost efficient for you, and some more weapons for Justin Fields. Because I tell you what, that's what y'all lacking in the Bears. The Bears are lacking in that department. Nobody has given him time. They're not catching the passes. They're making him look like he don't know how to make the throws. I hear so many experts giving him a hard time, but they'll be back up on the Justin Fields bandwagon here in no time. I'm sure they will be. But look, you gotta go that way, Chicago. But if Chicago don't, let's take them. I want Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. I want him so bad in Pittsburgh. If Justin Fields is on our offense, y'all, we are right now where the Ravens are sitting right now. I'm telling y'all that right now. I'm telling y'all right now. And and this is what the team we have right now constructed the way it is right now. We are sitting where the Ravens are right now if Justin Fields is our quarterback. Oh yeah, let me not forget about TJ being healthy. If TJ's healthy and Justin Fields is on the offense, we're balling. I'm telling y'all that right now. And so, far as an offensive coordinator, you know, in a way, I kind of want like Eric Bieniemy, but in a way, it's like I don't want somebody who's already like that the NFL has already seen and they already know how to neutralize him as a offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? I'd rather have somebody who's proven to be good enough to be there, has maybe something new, you know, something new that we haven't seen, unorthodox of a Pittsburgh type of way with the offense. Bring some new, exciting offense. Our offense is boring as hell. We don't capitalize off any turnovers, and that got a lot to do with our quarterback play. Let's just be honest there. But you know, I don't care who they bring in. What, you know, just somebody that's going to come in, bring some excitement to our offense and some damn plays that's going to work. Go for the jugular. Like, we got the defense that can play well. The problem is like, you talking about big plays coming up, that we let up a lot of big plays. That's a fact, but you got to give us some time back there. That secondary was just put together this year, and look, we still went into the wild card, y'all. I mean, by the skin of our chinny chin, by that little hair on our chinny chin, we got in. But still, y'all, it's still a 10-7 season. It's still a 10-7 season, y'all. I mean, damn, like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. We got in like that. That's cool. That's fine. But look, and that's what we currently have. A secondary that was glued together this year. You know what I mean? This will be their second year coming back in the system. Probably gonna look better. I'm sure it would look better. You know what I mean? But we need the quarterback position. We need the quarterback position so bad, man. And look, there's guys out there, man. There's guys out there. We just gotta go and get them. There's guys out there that I keep mentioning. You know, I mentioned Justin Fields. There's DJ Galat Jr. He was on a practice squad with the Washington Commanders. He was on a practice squad with the Baltimore Ravens. You know, he can ball, man. He can ball. Yes, he played the Division I HBCU level, FCS level, you know, football for the CIAA. But look, he's 6'3", 225. I think he ran like a 4.39, 4.38. You know, damn near 4.4 flat. You know, he's quick, and he could throw the ball, and he's out there, and we're not, like, nobody's entertaining the idea of that. Like, and it's crazy to me, like, because he's better than what we got right now. And we need mobility at that position. I'm telling you, just do. Like, to me, in the NFL, that matters a whole lot. Like, could you pass the ball? Yes. Cool. Can you make all the throws? Check. Can you run? Because you're going to have to use that. Period. At some point, you're going to have to use that, unless you're building an elite offensive line. Unless you build a absolutely elite offensive line to where you can run for 200 yards in an NFL game, $150 a game, CMC, like, you know what I'm saying? Look, just like the NFC, if you can build offensive lines like how the NFC champion have right now, Detroit, and what Detroit has and what San Francisco has, then cool. But if your offensive line ain't like that, like ours is, all right, you know what I'm saying? We got an IO line. Yeah, we need a mobile quarterback. I would love a mobile quarterback because I think that those guys are going to be the Super Bowl champions. Patrick Mahomes has proven it for the past 2 years, y'all. Like, what are we on? What are we on? And for anybody out there that want to argue that, yeah, that statue quarterback gonna get you so far, but when you start going against these elite defensive linemen and these elite pass rushers in the NFL that's breaking off of tackles and getting back there and hitting them statue quarterbacks that can't outrun these defensive linemen out here, then where you're in trouble, right? So, but when you got somebody who's as elusive and shifty and as smart as a Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, they win Super Bowls. They win Super Bowls. Stop it. Stop it with that. When's the last quarterback we seen that couldn't run win the Super Bowl? Please tell me down in the comments. Tom Brady ain't here. When's the last time Tom Brady won the Super Bowl? And Tom Brady had what? He was an elite passer. Is any of these quarterbacks right now in the NFL on Tom Brady's level? Okay, then. That's my point. So I've been at it right now, man, for 40 minutes, man, going on 41 minutes over here babbling and running off at the mouth, man. And I appreciate y'all kicking it with me, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to TruckinChubbzy Sports, man. Go ahead, hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all for watching, skipping through whatever you wanted to do. I'm glad that you came through, man. That's it. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your week, man. I'll probably see y'all tomorrow with a new one. Peace out. Blessings to y'all, man.